Today we remember St. Pope Callistus, who we recall as someone who was part of the massive reality of slavery in the ancient world. And slaves were often prisoners of war who they would enslave instead of killing them. It was kind of this act of mercy. Also, they were prisoners and sometimes people in desperate circumstances who sold themselves into slavery for food and housing. Also, sometimes people were born into slavery. And today's slave, Callistus, served in a Roman house for many years. He was an intelligent man, so his owner put him in charge of his bank. And he lost the deposit, and his punishment was being sent to Sardinia to mine the coal. After some years, he earned his freedom from his slave status, and he began to work in the underground cemetery in Rome, in the catacombs, which today still bears his name. It's called the Catacombs of St. Callistus. And under him it grew to be 13 miles long of dark tunnels and tombs for mostly Christian burials. 500,000 bodies were encased in these walls, and it was the official burial ground for Christians. And masses were even said at their tombs for the dead, where people would often come to pray for them. Eventually, he became a deacon, and then by the grace of God, the Pope. His time as Pope really emphasized mercy and reconciliation, especially for those who abandoned Christianity to go back to the worship of the false Roman idols of the empire. And it was his pastoral issue. And he welcomed them back without forcing them to do public penance, which some people actually disagreed with. But it was this kind of act of mercy. For in the ancient world, even today, we consider idolatry, or going to worship false gods rather than the Christian God, a serious sin, where you abandon Jesus Christ, your Savior, for some other false idol. And finally, he was martyred, where, according to historical sources, there was an uprising, and he was tortured and thrown into a well. And St. Cyprian writes a beautiful statement to encourage Christians during times of persecution to stand strong in the faith, like St. Pope Callistus did in his day. And he says, during persecution, the earth is closed off, but heaven lies open. You are suddenly withdrawn from earth to find yourself in the kingdom of heaven.